All right, what's going on, everybody? We are live at Exhibitor Live. It's Event Marketing Redefined, and I have on the one and only Jason Weddle, CEO of Hamilton. What's happening?
How you doing, Matt? It's probably a good thing there's only one, but it's nice to be here with you.
Nice, man. I'll preface this. Jason and I are friends, super helpful to me on sort of my journey, so I just want to get that out there so people know. Yeah. I appreciate you.
Likewise, it's been a pleasure watching your company grow and evolve. Thanks, and I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that.
So
you guys are an awesome company, right? You guys just do some seriously great work, like uberly creative. Seems like you guys are always doing things the right way, right? Tell me a little bit about like what's not the sauce on that, but like what's inside driving that, where, you know, kind of leading the way and constantly just producing top of the line work.
Well, first, again, thank you. I think, to hear compliments about the organization, it's attributed to our people first and foremost. We've got a great history, great group of people. And I think, culture is a big deal.
Yeah.
As you know, as you talk about a lot. So, there was a lot of experience lost coming out of COVID. A lot of people wondered how things would rebuild and what it would be like. And we knew that there'd be some inexperience and, you'd make some mistakes. But I was telling someone earlier today, I've never been as excited as I am about the talent, the potential of the organization.
Nice.
So
young people?
Yeah, we've got some, I don't know that HR will let me to say young, but we've got some new to the industry
some
folks.
Old dogs? What
some,
you got?
We got a nice mix.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
But no, I think, the youth movement's good and, they're hungry. They want to learn the business. It's an exciting industry, as you know.
Yeah.
It gets in your blood and keeps us young.
Yeah, man. I was just having a conversation with a woman, event marketer. She's here for the CTSM program. And she said something to me and I was like, oh man, it's so spot on. It's how I feel. Is like, she loves seeing things come to life.
Yes.
And I told her, I said, hey, like, that's like what our whole team is so invested in.
That's right.
Such a cool part of what we do. And it's interesting to talk to our clients. She's not our client, right?
Sure.
But just in general, right? And kind of that they view it a similar way, like seeing that kind of come to life. What do you think of the show so far? What do you think?
I think the show's, I think my team would tell you the show's been good so far.
Yeah, good.
I think, it's another year. It's obviously a new venue in Louisville. I have to say, I think they've done a nice job here.
Yeah.
I think that, the city's welcomed with open arms, and it's afforded us an opportunity to bring more of our staff than we typically would.
Yeah.
I think, we went all out really we believe in Exhibitor. We believe in the industry. We believe in sharing knowledge and that expertise. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
I think it's been good. And I'm excited. I think it is more quality maybe over quantity, but so far so good. We've been very busy today.
Are you as shocked as I am sometimes that like not as meant, like I feel like not enough people know about the CTSM program. Like I've seen the tracks, the courses, what they're teaching. It's spot on, right? It's spot on what we would tell any of our customers that you need to be doing.
Right.
But so many people just have no idea it even exists,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me because one of the things that I'm like driving on is how many companies don't have a true event marketing professional running their programs.
Right.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think?
I don't know. We have a CTSM graduate who works for us now, was on the client side and now works on our side.
Stole him.
And it's interesting, I think there's a lot of learning there in that program. There's a lot of value, tremendous value, especially over the years. This is a unique industry, and I think the nuance of the industry is what helps people excel or not.
Yeah.
And the more that you can learn, I've been doing this 18 years.
Yep.
You're learning something new every day. I think, there is a great opportunity with all the new folks coming into the industry to really promote the CTSM, maybe even make it more advantageous for, houses like ours and yours to send our people even.
Yeah.
How do they get more educated? So, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. I think that, why it's not as well known as maybe it could be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but this is as you alluded to earlier, it's a brand thing.
Yeah.
Right? This is where people experience a brand. And so all the CTSM candidates are experiencing the Exhibitor brand here.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fantastic way to not only see the industry, but get a new understanding of what it can be.
You know, all the data that I've been like rammed down my throat for the last 10 years that we get to see is like the trade show and event marketing budgets of companies is like 20 to 40% of their total marketing budget.
Sure.
It's huge,
Yep.
right? So on that line of like why they're not getting event marketers trained up and stuff, like it's baffling to me that it's such a big spend, yet not that it's treated recklessly, but in a way it's kind of like why would you not say, hey, like we're $500,000 into events every year, $1 million into events every year. We need to go get an event marketer to come and run this ship.
Sure.
Why do you, I don't know. I guess I'm confused as to like why that doesn't happen enough.
Yeah, I don't know that I have the answer to that. I think that what you are seeing is, again, just as it happened on our side, on the client side, there's a brand new wave of folks that don't know much about the industry. We're constantly educating not only our internal folks, but our clients as well.
Yeah.
Trying to help them better understand the nuance. Again, I've used that word twice now, but the nuance of this business, show services, all of the things
So
that
many
happen
details.
that you don't, that you take for granted. And
Yeah.
people like us have known it for a long time. So we have an expectation that maybe the client representative or the client contact has that knowledge and experience. The reality is they don't.
Yeah.
They're all new. And so there's a lot of opportunity for the industry as we learn together and grow together.
What kind of change do you see coming, like in the next 5 years in the event marketing space? You see any like important changes coming?
I think proprietary events are going to become a significant player in this
Smaller,
industry.
more micro events, more intimate, like post run. Yep.
Yeah, I think there's always a forum for this, and we know that now better than ever before coming out of the pandemic. Like face to face, you cannot replicate this.
No.
And in any other medium. And I think all of the advancements technologically, et cetera, they're going to help. But I do think that this is the era of partnership. I think that you're going to see more companies working together than separately. I think that you'll see more interaction between your client and someone like myself. Again, if there's an expertise in proprietary events that you don't have or that someone doesn't have, you may reach out and say, hey, let's do this together.
Yep.
I think the world is small. It's getting smaller, and it's a great opportunity to really partner up. And so I guess, what do I see happening? I see this continuing, but I do see proprietary events taking a big push forward.
I feel like I've been talking to this a while. Like, I don't think that trade shows are at risk. I just think that the conventional, standard, typical trade show is the value that they offer has changed.
Yes.
And I think that the brands are seeing it.
Yes.
So from my side, it's if you're an organizer running these shows, you got to shake your shit up. You got to start to like say, okay, attendee, what do they need? Sponsor exhibitor,
right.
What do they need? We're bringing this all together here because like 14 to 19, everybody's just fat and happy.
Right.
Everybody's good.
Right.
The brands will send anybody just to go because they always go. The sponsors will throw the money down. But now coming out, what are coming out of COVID? My point is like, I think that people are questioning things.
Sure.
And they want to be more precise.
Yes.
And so you think trade shows are going to take a hit? Do you think that like some shows are going to just get better, some will get worse, some will disappear? What do you think there?
It's tough to read. I do think that, metrics are huge. Return on investment is bigger now than ever before.
Yes.
I think that, there's a real focus and attention placed on that. What is this event doing for us? The thing that you cannot, again, that you can't underestimate is this is a brand experience.
Yeah.
So if you do it the right way, there can be a tremendous return at a trade show, at a private event, in a digital marketing campaign, in a mobile marketing campaign, in a corporate environment, all of the things where your brand meets someone face to face. But I think it really goes into the need to plan well. I give a lot of credit to the exhibitor advocate. I think, the exhibitors need a voice. They need to be heard. They need to understand that they do have a voice, and that we as EDPA and others are really promoting their opportunity to have a voice, so that, again, the general contractors, the show organizers are our friends.
Yep.
Right? They're not the enemy. I think what has to happen is there's got to be a better understanding of how we grow this together for the common good. there's enough money to be made for
100%.
everyone, but also how do you drive attendance? What is that experience like?
Yep.
You know, how do you bring them back moving forward? So I think there's work to be done on both sides, but
Yep.
I'm hopeful that, you know, with Exhibitor Advocate and some other things and more listening taking place from organizers to their exhibitors, that will yield positive results.
You know, oddly enough, I was talking earlier with a woman who's in the CTSM program. She's an event marketer, runs a good sized program, and we were talking about this stuff. And I was like, oh, you got to meet Jessica Sabila from the
Yes.
Exhibitor Advocate.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, what does she do? And I start telling her, and she's like, oh my God, I want to meet her. And right as I did it, Jessica Sabila walking right by here, I was like,
Nice.
Jessica. And then,
Nice.
you know, but when I told this CTSM event marketer or whatever, like, she was like, oh my God, like, I would love. So to
Right.
your point is, yeah, like they need some support.
They do.
And because some of the stuff that goes on, man, it's what makes our industry, people question it.
Absolutely.
People question the high costs.
Yes.
Unexplained costs.
There's been a real shift for all of us, including the organizers and GCs. You know, everyone is learning this business. Things are taking more time, thus it's more costly. Exhibitors have budgets. And, you know, it's hard to look at your client in the eye and say, look, we manage this to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
But there was an overrun. They don't care.
These outside factors.
They have a budget and they have an expectation of us. I think that just as you talked about the CTSM, the Exhibitor Advocate needs people like us to promote that in a greater way.
Push it.
They really need to gain a foothold out there and a voice. And I think once that happens, it will be transformational for our industry. I think it's a very positive thing. Again, the organizers and GCs are not the enemy. We're all partners in this.
Yeah, it all comes back to what I'm saying is, like, none of these shows happen without the attendee, without the sponsor exhibitor.
That's right.
Right? It's an ecosystem.
Right.
So the value has to be there for both parties.
That's right.
And then that value has to be created by a lot of parties in a lot of different ways.
Correct.
You and I got to create value.
Yes.
I mean, fighting every day to create value, to differentiate, to deliver something where we're not commoditized.
Right.
I think the shows have to be the same way.
I agree.
The organizers have to be the same way.
I agree.
And that's a big shift that I'm hoping to see in our industry now.
Likewise.
Anything cool that you're seeing with your clients? Anything, you know, trend, anything going on that I can steal from you, take to my clients?
Well, you know, I think there's a number of our clients that are very forward thinking in their event marketing spend, and they're looking at it holistically now. And I think that opens up a lot of opportunities. You know, it's hard to pick one or two things or trends, but I think integrated marketing program where the exhibit has a carry on. It's maybe it's a teaser or a portion of a larger campaign.
Per se,
And so I think there's a lot more campaign type work, total campaign, pre-show, during show, post-show, next event, whether it's a trade show or not. You know, how they're putting that together and taking a more holistic view has been pretty interesting.
You know what's funny is I've like written a lot of content and talked a lot about this idea of like how trade shows need to be treated like a campaign.
Yep.
In all events just in general. And then some of the best event marketers I've spoken to, like a Debbie Kemp from Canon Medical, Tavar James from Riskified, Aaron McElroy from IBM. Some of these people, like, when I say that to them, they're like, yeah. I mean, if you're not, what are you doing?
Right. It's
interesting, the high-level people, these companies that are, I don't say tearing up events, but they're doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
They're running return. They run a tight ship. It is a marketing channel. It's a campaign.
That's
right. It is end to end. It's everything you're talking about.
Right.
Which is how that stuff needs to be run.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, those veterans, those folks that have been around, they understand it.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity to help educate, you know, the new folks to the industry about what this can be and what their expectations should be as a new person.
Yeah.
Because truly it does need to be fully integrated. You really need a plan. And we've heard that a lot today at our booth. The best compliment I heard today was the campaign was on point. I didn't hear a thing about my booth. I mean, I've heard things, but they said the campaign was on point. And
good.
That was the greatest compliment we could receive.
I think so.
Because I think it speaks to understanding what your clients are or should be doing.
You know what's funny about that? I had somebody ask me, one of the people came on the show, asked me, they were like, well, what are you, why are you guys here? What's your, kind of flipped it on me.
Sure.
And I said, you know what? I said, talk the talk, got to walk the walk.
That's right.
That's so important for
That's
us to be able to go do it. Because how are you going to tell someone to do it and then not do it yourself?
That's right. And to prove it to your client, this is what we did and this was the result.
It worked.
It worked. It still works.
Case study it.
That's right.
Find a way to show them like, hey, this is what we did. These are the steps we went to. These are the methods that we used.
That's right.
We put the time in and put the energy in.
Yeah.
And then we drew results from it.
I think too, it's like, okay, so if you look at it holistically, maybe you cut out a show or two. Maybe you cut out something that you used to do to make the ones that you do that much more valuable and impactful.
Yep.
It's all about impact. It's all about experience. So, I think those are tough conversations to have, but they're the conversations that you should be having if you're a true partner. Those are the types of conversations you should be having.
Man, that's like, to me, is all about like adjustment. Like if you are measuring, if you are putting in the work to go treat it like a channel,
right,
then you know when you should pull out.
Right.
You know when you should prioritize a show. Say, hey, we need to go to this show. We should put more energy into this show.
That's right.
And shifting. So it all comes back to, are you putting in the strategy? Are you executing? Are you doing post-show? Like everything
That's right.
tells you what to do and the direction that you go next.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything your clients are asking you, like repeatedly or unique, different, kind of surprising you possibly? Anything like that?
Well, so we, as you probably know, we make a huge investment in Euroshop.
Yeah.
And we take our entire design staff over there. I think we're the only company in the industry that does that. And we
Why do you do that? Why is that something you guys
we
do?
do it with a purpose. I mean, I think the trends that you see there, it takes a couple of years for those to come to the States. And while I don't want to be on the bleeding edge, I sure want to be on the cutting edge.
Yep.
And our team sees it as a nice incentive.
Yeah.
I told our team we should market it. It is a great benefit to go to Europe for a week and see new trends, new technologies, new methodologies.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing now, since our clients know that we make that investment, hey, what does that look like for us?
Yeah.
How can that come sooner? How can we get ahead of the curve? And I think, you see that a little bit in our booth today. It looks very, very similar to some things you've seen in Europe. And very proud of that team, the work they've done. But the clients want to know, how can they disrupt or be a differentiator in their space? How do you come to this and stand out?
Yep.
And it is about that experience. It is about that. And the look and the feel, as you know, is part of it. But it's no longer the focal element.
Yeah.
How do you make real impact? How do you really a lasting takeaway that someone feels? So,
it's funny you saying about what someone feels is who said it to me earlier? Who was it? I forget. Sorry, I've had like 10 conversations, but she was talking about like just the impact that she wants to leave at these shows, the feeling she wants people to leave with.
Right.
And I was like, that's it. That's the sauce. That's the stuff. Like you're thinking the way, like you're beginning with the end in mind.
Correct.
And that's key.
That's absolutely right.
Especially with what we do.
Absolutely right. And I think you get one shot sometimes to make a good, and this is the brand coming to life. So, you've got to really be focused on what that message is and how you're conveying it.
You got any advice for event marketers? Young event marketer, thrown in the fire, just learning. Any advice for them?
Yeah, I would say get active. Be involved. Get involved with the EDPA. There's so much learning and opportunity there. Pursue the CTSM. I think anything that you can do in the industry to gain knowledge is going to be so valuable for your career. The single most important piece I would say is be a sponge. Ask questions, because those of us that have been doing this for a long time, we maybe know how we did it years ago.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about this industry is it's always evolving and changing. So be a sponge. Don't be afraid to ask. You're going to learn a lot from that.
Yeah, I think that's some of these conversations, man. It's like getting event marketers, people to push and ask why and what's out there.
Exactly.
I think what's cool about this show that I have found from my conversations is the event marketers we're talking to, they're all here because they want to learn.
That's right.
They're all here because they want to do better.
That's right.
They are seeking something that they don't know, which I love.
And it's time for them to again be a disruptor. The status quo doesn't mean that it was right, doesn't mean it was wrong, but there's an opportunity to change. And I think a brand has this is like the best forum to get that brand experience out there and disrupt,
Yeah. And I think you get face to face with clients, you get that instant feedback, those conversations, you can poll them, right? You can get a feel. We're talking to somebody else about brand awareness. She's like, I don't know how to track brand awareness. She's like, I don't know how to track these intangibles.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking, let's work through this. Tell me what you're trying to, what's brand awareness? What are you thinking? And we started talking and I was like, hey, you got to do, let's say it's an exit survey, right? And what is that survey? I think she's like, yeah, well, we've done those. And I said, okay, I agree. That's fine. I said, but I think it's about the question that you ask.
That's absolutely
What
right.
is the question you're asking to evoke a certain, you know what I mean?
Right.
So there's so much like good stuff out there, man, that these event marketers are going to get their hands on when they're at events like this and they're talking to other event marketers and they're, evolving their programs. That's what it's all about.
That's absolutely right. Data for data's sake is invaluable. Or
I know it, man.
Is not valuable. I think it's, what are you measuring? How are you? What questions are you asking to quantify and qualify?
Yeah. Is it tied to business objectives?
You got it.
Is it tied? It doesn't always need to be tied to ROI or something.
Correct.
It could be tied to what is the objective? What is something in the
right.
business that you're carrying, that you're pushing through?
That's right.
That you're looking to contribute
That's right.
to the business's goals and objectives and what they're driving.
That's right.
That's it, man.
Okay.
We're going to wrap it up.
Very good. I appreciate the opportunity.
Your wealth of knowledge coming up here.
It's a small book, my friend.
Nice, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.